Hi, welcome to my bookshelves. I'm about to empty my bookshelf pretty much to get all the books down that I've read this year so far and tell you what I think. So this is what my bookshelf looks like currently. I will insert a clip. I've got my Goodreads up here. We are going to go all the way back down to January. So far this year I've read 74 and a half books. So this is going to be my 75th book, but I'm pretty much finished. I'm just going to film this and then just like chuck a clip in at the end of how I feel about that book. But 75 books, it's currently the 31st of August, so I'm well on track. My goal was 100 books. Obviously it looks like we're going to be just fine when it comes to that. There are a few that I read on my Kindle, which is here. But she is dead. So I'm just gonna insert photos of those books. But let's get started, shall we? So first thing I have to do is pull all the books off and have a huge like stack here, and then I'll kind of talk about them. Give me 5 minutes. So I'm gonna do it in order that I read them. Okay, I feel like I should preface, I don't rate based on like the skill of the writing. Like I rate it based on my enjoyment. Like, did I enjoy it 5 out of 5 stars when I was reading it? I think the best way to do this is like, would I recommend it? Like, yes or no. That's how I'm going to do it. And then maybe like a little, my thoughts on the book, you know? So the first book that I read of 2024 was Reckless by Elsie Silver. If you know, you know. I will recommend Chestnut Springs until I die. Sorry. It's such a cute, cozy little book. Super easy to read. Definitely a little spicy, but I'm not mad about it. So this is the first book I read. And I gave this one 4 stars. And then I also read directly after it Hopeless, which is another Chestnut Springs. I think this is the 5th one. Yeah, this is the 5th one. Another Elsie Silver book. I love it. I also gave this one a 4 stars. They're nothing like profound, but that doesn't bother me. You know, I want like a cute, crazy little one. The next one I read was Addicted After All, which is part of the Calloway Sisters series. I really enjoy this found family trope in these books. I've got like all the books here. I actually haven't finished the series yet. I don't know why. I think like I like it so much that I want to like prolong it. You know, like I don't want it to be over, but I love them. I love this book in particular because they're all like together. Chef's Kiss. I gave this one 4 stars as well. Set on You. 2 stars. I personally, I didn't really enjoy this book very much. Yeah, it just wasn't my cup of tea, so I would not recommend that one. But I have such strong opinions on this book. I think my grandma found this for me in an op shop, and I like put it off for ages because I'd never really heard anything about it. Read it, loved it. The ending was so bad. Like, I would have given this book low-key like 4.5, maybe even 5 stars. The ending just killed it for me. I gave it a 3 stars in the end because I was so devastated at the ending. If you know, you know. I personally, I wouldn't recommend it just because I remember being like, I still feel so much like angst towards this ending, and I read this in January, so I'm gonna say no. I would not recommend. Me and Every Other Basic Girl, Atomic Habits, besties. Look, would I recommend it? Yeah, sure. It's nothing crazy. Like, I don't know, I found it quite easy, but I did find it quite repetitive. So if you're really into like the self-helpy books, I don't know, there was nothing major in here. I liked the habit stacking, I guess. I don't know. I feel like one of my friends listened to the audiobook of this and she said that was so much better. So maybe I would recommend it just in a different format. The next 3 books I read were part of a series. Once Upon a Broken Heart, The Ballad of Never After, and A Curse for True Love. I know, this one's the big one. Okay, I was so impatient when it came out, I just had to get it. I didn't need to replace it with the small one. I don't need to. I want to replace it with the small one. I loved this series. I picked this book up on a whim, low-key. Like, I was like, oh yeah, okay. I think Rachel Catherine said it was good. I don't know. Picked it up, read it in like a day. Like, I was on a holiday and I just flew through it, and I immediately went to the shops and got the 2nd and the 3rd one. And I read them all within like literally 3 or 4 days. So easy. Young adult for sure. Like, definitely very closed door romance. Like, I don't know, I just ate it up. I ate it up. I have no words. I gave this series as a whole like a 5 stars, and I really just enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. So I would recommend this for sure, especially if you're like not huge into fantasy. I just feel like it was something different, you know? I don't know. I really liked it. Mixed opinions on this one. Never by Jessa Hastings. Now honestly, Magnolia Parks is my favourite book series of all time, can never be topped. Therefore Jessa Hastings, I guess, is one of my favourite authors. I saw that she's coming out with a book, immediately brought it. I knew nothing about it. I kind of guessed based on the back, obviously, that it is a Peter Pan retelling. I loved it. I've seen a few people shit all over it, to be honest, but I really liked it. I made like a playlist about it, like I got right into it, and I don't know if it, I would like to think I would feel the same if it wasn't, but I think the fact that it was by Jessa Hastings, I definitely had an influence on my opinions on the book, I would say, but I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. I loved it. The next book we read was The Couple Upstairs. I give this a 2.5. It was nothing special, honestly. I personally wouldn't recommend it, but I wouldn't say it was the worst book I've ever read either. The next book I read was on my Kindle. I read The Teacher by, I'm gonna butcher this, but Frida McFadden. I've read pretty much all of her books now, I think. I read it on a plane. Yes, I read it on the way home from Melbourne. I read it in that flight. Like, her books are always, to me, very fast paced. Something a little different from my usual kind of rom-com-y stuff. No, I loved it. The plot twist shocked me. I really liked it. Oh, I totally skipped a book, which is so funny because this is probably my top read of 2024 so far. And I don't think it'll be topped. I am a Magnolia girl through and through. I will take no criticism, no slander, none of it. I love this series so much. I cried like a little baby numerous times throughout this book, and I do not normally cry at books, okay? I loved this book so much. I love this series so much. I am so sad that Magnolia and BJ storyline is pretty much over, but that's okay. I just 5 stars, 6 stars, 6 stars immediately, effortlessly, all the time. This is my top read, and I don't think it's going to be topped. I don't have any anticipated releases that I think would top it. She is the one. She is the one. She will always be the one. Next, the final one in this section is the If He Had Been With Me. I lapped it up. I loved it. So sad, so not what I was expecting even remotely, but I loved this series, honestly. I couldn't put it down. I thought about it all the time. I was reading like a chapter and like doing something else and then coming back and reading a chapter. Like, I was obsessed with it, and I did give it 5 stars. So I would absolutely recommend this. There is the second book, which I'm going to get into in a second, but I did thoroughly enjoy this book. Okay, I'm going to get the next batch of books out, and then we're going to go through those. Bear with me. Bear with me just 2 seconds. I said I was going to do it in batches to make it easy to put away, but I'm getting a bit carried away with how excited I am to tell you how I feel about these books. So, the next lot that I've read, I read another self-help book. Can you tell it was the beginning of the year? I read Attached. I actually really benefited from this book. There was so much that I didn't really understand about myself until I read this book, and I feel like it really helped me kind of navigate relationships and friendships and stuff like that. So I don't rate self-help books, but I rate it, if that makes sense. So I would recommend. I then read, this is gonna be controversial, I know. I read Divine Rivals, and do you know what? I didn't love it. Oh, I know. I know some people really fuck with it. Personally, I don't understand the hype. I have brought the second one to read, and like I get it to an extent, but like it definitely wasn't a 5 star. I would give it like, honestly, like a 3.75, and that's because I'm scared. Probably a 3.5. I did not. Yeah, I didn't really think about it after I read it. I haven't thought about it since, except for like almost reading the second book, the sequel. I do like that it's only a duology, so it feels quite like manageable to read for sure. But yeah, it definitely wasn't my favourite book. So sorry to all of the fans that love that book. This is the second one to that book I was telling you about earlier. So this is the If Only I Had Told Her. Look, honestly, I lapped it up because I was so attached to the storyline and the characters from the first book, but entirely unnecessary, honestly. Like, it didn't need it, but like I was grateful for it, if that made sense. I gave it a 4 stars, loved it. I wanted more. Obviously, there's only so much more they could give, but I lapped it up personally. So my Kindle books. So I read Wrecked, which is the Dirty Air number 3. I gave it a 3.5, nothing profound. I enjoy them. Cutesy little romances. F1 themed, which is a little different, which I do like. Like, it's normally, I don't know, I've read like all of the Billionaire and like, I don't know, that kind of the sports romances. Like, the F1 was kind of like refreshing. I also read the Rebecca Yarros book, In the Likely Event. I enjoyed it. I think I read it on a plane, like in one kind of like sitting. I gave it a, what did I give it? A 3.5. So honestly, I can't recall very much about it, which I feel like speaks volumes, but I don't know, apparently I read it at the time, so I perhaps do recommend. The next one I read, but like, also not really, I listened to it on Audible. None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. Oh my god! That is the best audiobook I've ever heard in my life. I loved it so much. It was kind of like styled as a podcast, is the only way I can really explain it. They had like the intro music at the chapters. Oh, the characters, it literally felt like I was just like listening to a TV show. And normally, in my opinion, audiobooks are very, and then he put his hip next to her hip, or whatever. That was such a weird sentence, but you know what I mean. Normally it's very monotone and I just can't really get into it. Whereas this, I was like, what? Like, I loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars. If I had read the book, would I have rated it so highly? No, definitely not. But I think the elements of the audiobook really added to the experience for me, and therefore I enjoyed it. Then I read Another Little Slutty Cowboy. Are we shocked? No. This is the Done and Dusted, I believe. Yeah, Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. Loved it. Nice, easy read. I think for me, Chestnut Springs is still my favourite cowboy romance series, but this was not bad. So I gave it a 3.5. I liked it. I'll continue the series. I would recommend. I had such high expectations for this book, and I feel like that's always a bad thing for me. Like, if I'm going into something with really high expectations and it doesn't like instantly exceed those expectations, I'm a little disappointed. So I gave this one a 4.5. What did I give it? I gave it 4.25. So I did really enjoy it. It just wasn't a 5-star for me, but the concept was really cool. The characters are really cool. I would absolutely recommend it. 100%. Oh. Let me just stack them up really quickly and try not to break my back while holding them. Shout out to Charlotte for literally forcing me to read this series. This is a 5-star series for me. I read them all back to back like an absolute crazy person. I was perfectly in time for Taming 7 to come out. 5-star series. 5-star series. Those are some chunky boys, okay? Chunky monkeys. I lapped it up. Every single minute, every single second. Oh, my camera's flashing. I'll change the battery, but I just want to finish this off with 5-star series. 5 stars. Is it giving Wattpad? Absolutely. Is the writing like the best technically? No, it's not. Did I lap every single chapter up? Yes. Let's see how many we can do before my camera dies. And Powerful, which is part of the Powerless and Reckless series. It's like a novella in the middle. Same timeline, different perspective. I could have gone without it, honestly. I gave it a 3 stars. I felt it was kind of unnecessary. We kind of knew how it ended regardless. So, I don't know. Like, it was good, but it wasn't great. Another little sports romance. I really enjoyed this book, actually. It was a really easy read. No, like, major complaints. I gave it a 3.5. Like, it was nothing crazy special. Not my favourite book I've ever read, but definitely a nice, easy little palette cleanser. One of my other 5-star favourite reads of this year, just for the summer. This was my first, Abby, please, I know I'm going to butcher this. Jimenez? I don't know. 5 stars. 5 stars immediately, instantly. I love that I picked this book up. It really opened me up to all of her books, and I love all of her books. So, yeah, 5 stars. I don't really have much to say about it other than just, like, I enjoyed it from cover to cover. Like, I read 2 books on my Kindle. I read The Playlist by Elizabeth Morgan, or Morgan Elizabeth. I enjoyed it. It was like lots of Taylor Swift kind of references, which I obviously really enjoyed as a Swiftie. It was nice and easy. I gave it 3.5, nothing crazy. Same with the next one, which is also written by Morgan Elizabeth, which was The Fall of Bradley Reed. So that was in the middle of the series. I didn't realise that when I downloaded it, but honestly, they must all be standalones because I didn't need to read the other books to understand what was going on. I gave it a 5 stars. Funny story. I love Emily Henry. I will read every book she produces. I would read her grocery list if she would let me. I love them. This was a little different to what I was expecting, honestly, but I still lapped it up. Loved it. I read it really quickly. I wish I'd savored it a little bit more, honestly, but no. I can't speak. Every Emily Henry book is a 5-star for me, honestly, so let's continue the tradition. And then the final one for this batch was Wild Love, which is another Elsie Silver book. So obviously it's not a part of the Chestnut Springs series, but same author, same kind of vibes, honestly. This was a single dad trope. It was my first ever single dad trope, I believe. I really liked it. No complaints from me, honestly. I did give it a 4.5. It wasn't quite that 5-star feeling for me, but I have a few friends who have said like 5 stars. So I would definitely recommend it, and I can't wait. The second book, I can't remember what it's called now. I don't know, but it comes out in like a few days. So that's crazy, crazy exciting, and I can't wait to continue the series. I'm going to switch my camera battery and grab a new batch of books, and we'll keep going. Shall we continue? I think we shall. So, I read The King of Wrath by, oh, again, I'm going to butcher, I'm so sorry. Anna, I don't know. Honestly, I didn't really enjoy this book. I gave it a 2.5 stars. It wasn't anything great. I really liked her Twisted series. This one, I'm not going to continue the series, so I wouldn't really recommend. I've got Betting on You, which is a Lynn Painton. It's a Lynn Painter book. I really liked it. Yeah, I don't know. I really liked this book. Couldn't put it down. I do really like Lynn Painter's books. I kind of expected to like it, and I did. So I gave this one 4 stars. Wasn't 5-star feelings, but I would absolutely recommend it. Bride. Mixed feelings about this book. I did enjoy it. There was parts of the book where I was like, what is going on right now? But I gave it a 3.75 stars. I would recommend it. It was different for sure. It was giving like Twilight in a weird way though. A little duology. It's by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which is the same author that does the Inheritance Games. She's quickly become one of my favorite authors, actually. I really like this duology. So the first one is Little White Lies and Deadly Little Scandals. It's about like girls. It's like a found family situation, young adult for sure, but I don't know, I lapped it up. I really liked this duology, so I would absolutely recommend that. I read the second book of is it Blue Ranch? Is that what it's called? Rebel Blue Ranch. I read the first one, I think in the last arc I talked about it. This is by Lila Sage. I really enjoyed it. Again, it's not Chestnut Springs. Nothing will ever be Chestnut Springs for me, but I did like it, and I will continue the series. So I gave that one a 4 stars. I read a book by Holly Jackson, who she wrote The Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And this is the reappearance of Rachel Price. I really liked it. I gave this one 4 stars. It's kind of a good, I don't know, a good break from the rom-coms and the slutty cowboys. I would recommend it. Absolutely, I would. Next, I don't have the physical book because I did read it. Oh, we've actually got a lot of not physical books coming up. Yours truly, which is the Abby, I'm so sorry, Jimenez. I'm gonna say Jimenez, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I read that at Charlotte, my best friend in Melbourne's house. I loved it. It didn't matter to me that was the first book in the series and I read the third book first. They're all interconnected standalones. But I really liked it. I gave it 5 stars. I did. I really enjoyed it. I then read The Spare Room by Laura Starkley on Kindle, and honestly, I could not tell you a single thing about it. If you'd asked me if I'd read that before, I would say no. Then I read another Frida McFadden book, The Locked Door. Again, I gave it 3.5 stars. It was good, you know, nothing to rent home about, but no, it was embarrassing to admit on the internet. But then I read the Double Pucked series. It's a hockey romance, okay, that's all you kind of need to know. Definitely very spicy. I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I lapped it up. So I would recommend it if you're into that kind of thing. And then I also read Puck Yes, which is the second book in that series. Also read The Exception to the Rule, which is like meet cute books. I don't know. I liked it. It was just like a quick little novella that I saw in Kindle Unlimited, and I read it and I gave it 3 stars. I don't know. It was nothing crazy, but I liked it. Okay, then a book that kind of, I don't want to say shocked me, but it did. It did shock me. I read Red, White and Royal Blue. I only brought this book because it was like literally $3 at my local Kmart. I liked it so much more than I was expecting to, honestly. I don't know, I really liked it. I didn't think it'd be my thing, honestly, like the whole politics side of things as well, like, I don't know, not really my jam. Lapped it up, loved it, read it in a few days, and then immediately watched the movie on Amazon Prime and equally loved that. So that was such a fun experience. Oh, this was a audiobook that I listened to, The Soulmate Experiment? The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren again. I really liked it. The audiobook, it was set up to fail because it was not going to be as good as like the retelling that I listened to of the None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell audiobook earlier this year. But no, I liked it. I gave it 3.5 stars. I then read another slutty hockey book. Are we seeing a theme here? This is Collide by Bal Cabra. So sorry. I really liked this one actually. It was very much giving Icebreaker, and I loved Icebreaker. That was probably one of the first books that I read as like an adult, and then the Elle Kennedy Off-Campus series was one of the first series that I read. So I've got like a really special place for hockey romance, I feel. No, I really liked it. I gave this a 4 stars, honestly. So I don't know, that was kind of cool. Then kind of another one that I was like, oh, I don't know. Ali Hazelwood. I am a big fan of her. This was Check and Mate, which is about chess. Now, I don't know how to play chess. Okay, I've never played chess in my life. I can barely play checkers. Okay? I wasn't expecting to like it. I did like it. There was a lot of the chess elements within the book. Didn't mind. Didn't care. Didn't even really notice, to be honest. Like, the romance, I really liked them together. Like, I don't know, I gave it 4 stars. I then read, this is one of my most anticipated releases of 2024, Reckless by Lauren Roberts, which is the sequel. Is that the right word? Because there's another book coming. I don't know. The sequel, yeah, the sequel of Powerless, and then obviously I read Powerful, the novella first, but I gave this 4.5. Oh, I know, I really wanted to give it 5. I just didn't get 5-star feelings. I would say for me this series as a whole is going to be a 5 stars. But I found this one, it kind of dragged, especially the first half, like, and then the ending, I was like, what is going on? Like, it just felt kind of rushed to me, but equally, like, I don't know, dragged out. I would still recommend it, absolutely, and the first book is a 6-star for me, so I would definitely recommend it. But yeah, I was a little personally disappointed in this book. I then listened to another audiobook called The Wiener Across the Way, which is one of the Cocky Kingman books. I read the first Cocky Kingman book last year, so it felt right to listen to this one. I had a good listening experience, honestly. Like, I liked the 2 split characters and their voices and stuff. I gave it a 3 stars. It was nothing crazy. It's just fluff. I then read Not in Love, another Ali Hazelwood book. I had such mixed feelings about this book. I loved it, and then I hated it, and then I loved it, and then I hated it, and then I loved it, and it definitely, like, I was definitely intrigued in the story. Like, I kept coming back to it, wanting to know what was going on. So I guess I did have a good experience, but also, like, I had some mixed opinions throughout this book. I don't know. I would recommend it, though. I would. It's very different to her other books, I would say. This is more like an erotica, almost, whereas all of her other books, I'm pretty sure, are, like, the women in STEM, like, kind of vibes. And then the last book that I listened to was another audiobook. I was in my audiobook grind. First Lie Wins, which was part of a book club that I went to. I gave it 4 stars, honestly. I really liked it. I don't really have much to say about it, other than it was like a good breakup from a rom-com. It was like, I think it would come under like a mystery thriller, and I really liked it. The Worst Wingman Ever, which is another part of the Improbable Meet Cute, which is an Abby Jimenez, sorry, novella. It's definitely not a book, but I saw it and I was like, oh, I need to read it. If she's written it, I need to read it immediately, and I did. And I liked it. It was cute. It was a novella, so I'm not really gonna rate it, but if you like her writing, you'll like it, I would say. And one of my other favorite authors are Tessa Bailey, and I saw she had a novella called Same Time Next Year. I read it. I can't remember a single thing about it, unfortunately. I don't have the physical copy of this book because I left it in Melbourne for my friend Charlotte to read, but 5-star series for sure, by Carly Fortune. This summer will be different. Again, I read it backwards. Oh no, it's not backwards. They're all not connected at all actually, but it was like her third published book, I believe. Well, I don't know, maybe that's wrong. It's definitely not her first book that I've seen before, but it is her first book that I've read. 5 stars, 5-star feelings whole way through, giving like The Summer I Turned Pretty in the best way possible. I don't know, I really, really enjoyed that book. I then read The Housemaid is Watching, which is the third Housemaid book by Frida McFadden. Again, I didn't really feel like this one was crazy necessary, honestly. It just kind of felt like the same plot again. It wasn't bad, but I gave it 3.5. I then read another Abby Jimenez book, A Part of Your World. I don't have the physical copy because I read it in Melbourne. It was my friend's copy, but 5 stars again. I then read a novel story by Ashley Poston, which is the same author that wrote The 7-Year Slip. Weird, I know, I'm sorry. I wanted to like it and it was an anticipated release for me. I gave it 3.5 stars. I don't know, yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting idea. For me, it just didn't really, I don't know, it didn't really do it for me. I then read another Carly Fortune book, Every Summer After. Slay. 5 stars again. Giving The Summer I Turned Pretty in the best way possible. I wish I had read these books in the summer, but I'm so impatient. I'm so impatient. I just had to read them then and there. I really, really liked this one. It was like split across like 6 or 7 summers, I think. Yeah, 6 summers. I just really liked it. I don't know. It was such a feel-good little romance for me. I then read her other book, Meet Me at the Lake, which was very, very similar. I really liked this one as well. 5 stars. Honestly, I don't know. I really fucked with these books. And I read them all very close together. So they do kind of all blend together in my head, but that's okay. Now, I didn't read these all in order, but I am going to talk about them all in order. The only reason I didn't read them in order is because I ordered this one first and then I had to wait for the other ones to get here. But this is the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which again is the Inheritance Game, and the Little White Lies duology as well. This one, 5 stars, honestly. I had such a good reading. I've had such a good reading here already, but 5-star series, obsessed, young adult, mystery, I think. The first book had me gagged. Like, I was like, what? I was genuinely shook to my core. And like, I don't know, I feel like that kept happening the whole way through. Like, I just enjoyed every single minute of these books. 5-star series. Read, what did I read first? Call It What You Want by Alyssa Derogatis. I'm really not good with name pronunciation, can you tell? I saw this all over TikTok. I've seen her promote it all over TikTok. Saw it in McW and I was like, yeah, you're coming home with me. I liked it. I didn't really resonate with it. I've never really been in like a long-standing situationship. So I feel like I don't know, it would have hit so much harder and in a very different way if I related to it. But I did enjoy it. Like, it was nothing crazy. I gave it 3 stars. I don't know, I feel like if you have been in a long-term situationship, you would really like enjoy this. I don't know. This has been on my TBR for like ever. I really wanted a particular cover of it, but they don't make it here. And I tried to ship it over and it just didn't make it. So I just sucked it up and brought the other cover, but this is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I really liked it. I gave it a 4.5 stars. It wasn't, I gave it 5 stars. Did I give it 5 stars? I gave it 5 stars. I really liked it. I feel like if you have lost a parent, this would be maybe a bit of a trigger warning, potentially. I don't know. Particularly if you're a girl who's also a mum, I would say. But no, I really liked it. Eli, we all need a boyfriend like Eli, I feel. And then, I think the final books. It's a series that I really wasn't expecting to like. I never saw myself picking them up or reading them. They are graphic novels, which I've never read. I didn't even read graphic novels really as like a teenager, you know? The Heartstopper series. And I'm serious, I only picked this up because Sarah Carolee told me to, pretty much. She was like, oh my god, I love them. And I was watching her vlogs and she was like talking about them and I was like, oh, maybe I would like them. Obsessed. I read them all within a week, I believe. So yeah, like within 5 days I read all 5 books. Really quick and easy reads for sure, but I loved them. I've just literally finished. Actually, I'm on the season finale of season 2 of the TV show on Netflix. Lapping it up. Love it. I made a journal spread page about it. I liked it that much. I don't know, it was a really interesting reading experience for me, honestly. Just based on the fact that it was a graphic novel, I think. It kind of feels like cheating in a weird way to like add this to my yearly score of how many books I read, but I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. So I would recommend that. And then the 75th book that I have read / am still reading, I just want it to be a nice even number, is The Pickup, which I'm almost finished, honestly. I like it. It's cutesy. I like the concept. It's not something that I've read before. I'm really enjoying the single parent trope, honestly. When I edit this video, I will update you with what I ended up giving it, but I'm predicting like a 3.5, 4 stars for sure. And that is the 75 books that I've read so far in 2024. There's a lot of books for me to put away now. But I really had a good reading year. I really picked it up again. Last year I did read 100 books and I did thoroughly enjoy that. And I knew that instantly I wanted to take that habit over into 2024. But I think I'm, according to my Goodreads, I'm like 9 books ahead of my schedule. And I don't see myself slowing down anytime soon. I've had a really good reading year. Like, even this was so nice for me to like look back at the year and be like, oh, like I loved that book, I love that book, I love that book. The Boys of Tommen, Magnolia, Chestnut Springs, what else? Oh, the Naturals, Heartstopper. Like I've had so many good 5-star reads and 5-star series this year. And I don't see myself like ever not reading, honestly. Like I feel like there really is a book for everyone. Like genuinely, I really do. And I love books. I love reading. I love the concept of it. I like everything about it. I don't know. I'm a reader girly. I don't know. I hope that I can like look back at this video in like a few years time and be like, oh my god, like slay. Like those are my thoughts at that time. Those are my favorite books. Like it's kind of like a little time capsule of my year that I'm always going to look back at. So also, Tia, this was for you. You always ask me like, oh, like what should I read? There you go. Those are my thoughts on every single book I have read in 2024. And I hope that you find at least one recommendation that you enjoy from this video. So I'm gonna now spend the next 20 to 30 years putting these books back onto my shelf. It definitely, yeah, it doesn't look as empty as I was expecting it to, but it's still gonna take me a while to put them away. I'm going to edit this into like 500 parts of me talking, but bye!